the first day officially when Los Angeles is supposed to go back to normalcy. We are out and about trying to see how things change. It is definitely a mental exercise that every single one of us will need to overcome. Now we are trying to redefine a new normal. If you don't think it's going to affect you, you will be in for a surprise. So we are a few of us here. Tristan.
Buenos dias.
Coffee
Hi.
boy.
Finally,
Coffee
the
boy.
coffee is here. Hello.
Okay.
Hi!
Wait.
You said it right. It's sort of defining a new normalcy because it's not going to go back to exactly the way it was, at least not right away. I went out grocery shopping and ran a bunch of errands on the day that we officially opened up here, and everyone was still fully masked. Everyone's going to go at their own pace.
I think it's a good idea to reflect on the past year and a half. What are the things, good things, you discovered during this past year and a half? Was there anything that you want to actually keep from what you discovered? I think it's important not to forget about those lessons that we learned during this past year and a half, and we can come up with some brand new ways that maybe works better for everyone.
Well, I've realized from a teenager's perspective who your real friends are. I've made a lot of new friends and lost a lot of friends. Losing them didn't mean it was bad. It shows who the people are that you want to surround yourself with. Yeah. Also, just self-improvement really on who you are as a person, I'd say, on top of all that. So what was the question? Wow, I wasn't here. I was grabbing your food. I am happy that everything's reopening. I feel like everything's going not back to normal, but like hopefully improving and learning. Yeah, what I, learned over all this quarantine stuff, yeah, what Tristan said, pretty much, a lot of people you see every day because you have to, and you kind of make friends with them. But when, if there's no school, you kind of never see them, ever. So only my really close friends I became even closer with. I made a lot of new friends, which I'm really happy about. I also improved in a lot of things. I would say like skateboarding, I improved in a lot. Video games. So yeah.
Moving on.
I think that the hardest part of this past year was right in the beginning. And then, everything kind of relaxed again for a little bit. We did go into another lockdown, but it didn't seem as harsh as the first time. It was understood what it meant and what we were getting into. You kind of got used to wearing your mask. You got used to the restrictions. Now it's kind of like, okay, so what now? What is this new phase? What is this going to mean? Because I don't think people can just go back to exactly the way it was in 2019.
For me, the worst part is actually the very end of it. Basically right now. I feel like my energy lasted, kept everything together. And now that things kind of relaxed, I feel like, I'm fatigued from this past year and a half, a fair bit. Now I have to go back to normalcy. And it's almost draining to think about, okay, now I have to go back to normalcy. What does that mean? So that's what's confusing to me.
When it was really hard, like where I couldn't even see my friends, like I couldn't leave the house. That was the worst for me. On my birthday last year, like we rode bikes and that's about it.
Every generation experienced it differently. If you're a senior citizen, you didn't have your social groups, or maybe your spouse passed away, it must have been an incredibly difficult time. People who were in the workforce, it was very different because you need to rethink how you were doing things. And as a teenager, a young adult, the lack of socialization probably hurt you. And when you were a very tiny kid, also the restrictions of exposure to other little kids, the community itself, that must have been different. So every generation had their own problems.
I can't even imagine with people who didn't have friends or family how life must have been for them.
The importance of community really showed up here. If you had a solid tribe, a good supporting structure, you probably had an easier time to handle this pandemic. Probably a lot of people had to come to head with relationship issues. People whose relationship was rocky, they figured it out, or it all went bust. The importance of community showed up. Who are my first line of defense when it comes to my family and my close tribes, friends?
What was Are we still talking about the thing we were talking about? I dropped so much mayo because I was trying to carry everyone's food.
Talking about this, even just amongst the family, has already made me think about it more. I don't think that we even really talked that much about it. We were just kind of, everyone was just getting through it when we were in it. Now you can stop and think about it.
Also, due to this pandemic, I think masks are still going to be a big part of our lives for the rest of our lives. They became acceptable.
You want to wear a mask? Right on. Asians were way ahead of the game because in certain cities air quality was so bad that they have been wearing masks for a long time.
It was also when they were sick, having the fever, they put on a mask and went to work with a mask on because it added decency and respect for others. That's what I respect so much about them. They have so much respect for other people, which I find so awesome.
There is a learning. Whenever you don't feel perfect, wear a mask, be kind to others, don't spread whatever is lurking inside of you.
Yeah, masks are here to stay, for sure. 100% I will always fly with one, and if I'm not feeling well, I will wear one. And I know that people won't look at me like I'm nuts, because now everyone understands the benefits of mask wearing.
Keep reflecting, talk to your tribe, your family about it. How it affected you, what are the takeaways, so you can improve your life. And it's not just a bad memory. And maybe that way, the next time if we had a pandemic, because it could easily come, we will be able to jump on into the society much faster.
We are leaving this year behind us we're scot-free. Nothing happened to us. We have our health. We didn't lose any family members or friends. And there's a lot of people who went through a lot this year, either having the illness themselves, losing family members or friends, or people being alone, and a lot of mental issues develop. They are still scarred and they are still going through this. So it's good to talk about things just to help to move forward.
Thanks for watching. Press like, take care of your family, your tribe, your friends. Thank you guys. Ciao.